Hello and welcome back, founders, to the Visible Founder Podcast. I am so excited to be here with you today. You guys know this show is all about founders gaining and earning that visibility they need to grow their personal brand and their business. Today, I have a very exciting guest. We have Louis Swart. Hello, Louis. Thanks for coming on. Tell the founders a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Jade. Really appreciate being on this show. I love the fact that we're able to condense information. You know, instead of making all the stupid mistakes that I've made, because I've made a lot, okay, people are able to actually just, learn from our mistakes and do that. And so thank you for creating the platform. Really appreciate you for that. I remember selling a business for 5 million by the time I was 30, sitting in a bank, this big boardroom table. We sold it for cash, and they were counting out the money on one of those machines, the grrr, noise, and putting an elastic band, putting in a briefcase. I felt amazing.
Love that.
And then I remember thinking back about a plumbing business that I had 5 years before. I had 10 plumbers, thought I was bulletproof, went to sell it. Said to the broker, how much can I get for this business? And he said, who does the accounts? And I was like, I do it. Who does quality control? I do it. Everything was like, I. And he said, Louis, your business is worth nothing. And I still remember that sinking feeling. And it wasn't worth nothing because he would have had to replace me. I'd become the absolute bottleneck in this business. But fast forward, I learned how to do that. I've had those epic fails. Hey, if you're a business owner and you've never had an epic fail, I just think you haven't been in business for long enough. So seriously. I've had the epic wins, I've had the epic fails. I've kind of had this whole seesaw of thing. Last business in Australia, I grew to turning over 35 million, 450 staff. And so along the way, I've learned a lot of stuff. Very passionate about helping founders to actually set up businesses, because I believe that literally founders are what runs the whole economy, let's face it, and we're not given enough credit.
100%. I love that story. I mean, I can imagine that is honestly, for so many founders listening, that's the dream and the goal, right? At least the selling for 5 million, not the now fast forward and then you're like, yeah, your business is worth nothing. But I think that is the journey of a founder. It's like you have these high highs and these low lows, and sometimes you are the bottleneck. And I love that you've written a whole book about this, right? The B myth. Tell me a little bit about what was the catalyst behind that, and what is the real heart and message that you created this wanting to get out?
Beautiful. I kept telling people the same stories. About how, like literally we have this, we in this time now when I say, Jade, how are you going? You go, I'm so busy. Oh, I'm just so busy. Right. And we don't give the right amount of time to our children. We don't give the right amount of time to our partners. We don't give the right amount of time to our health. We don't give the right amount of time to a whole lot of other aspects of our life. And we're busy, but we kind of interrelate busy with, I'm so busy, Jade. People must love me because they're all giving me stuff to do. I'm so busy, Jade. I must be worthy because everyone's getting me to help them with their stuff. I'm so busy, Jade. I must be safe. Nobody else would want my job. I'm so busy. Who would want this job? So we attach it with love, worthiness, and safety. Being busy, we condense the two, and people say, how are you going? And we immediately say, I'm so busy, without even thinking about it. But are we productive? That's another story, And so I've got a couple of tools in the book, the B myth, and they show you how you can actually become more productive instead of becoming busier. How you can learn how to delegate better, how you can delegate to AI, virtual assistants, and really just get your life back.
I love that. And you're absolutely right. I think there does need to be a level of gratitude as well that comes with the busyness, right? Because that means we're making money, we're making sales, we're making impact, we're helping our clients, we're helping customers, we're making the impact on this world that we set out to do. And being busy is part of that. And I love that reframing the mindset. Let's talk about delegation, right? Because I feel like that's like a hush word for founders. We're like, delegate, I can do it all. I'm amazing. Delegate why? Delegate how? What are some of the things that you're seeing that founders could and should be delegating that they're holding on to?
Well, if I say the saying to you, if you want something done right, you need to
Do it yourself, unfortunately.
100%. 100%. And you know what? It doesn't matter how much I talk to you about delegation, that saying is embedded in your mind. So we actually start off life by being told, if you want something done right, you need to do it yourself. And even though we'd like to delegate, we have this thing running around, I need to do it myself. If I don't do it myself, Jade, how can I trust that it's going to be done properly? Okay. If I don't do it myself, Jade, maybe I'll lose control of the process. Okay. If I don't do it myself, really, am I worth as much if I'm not the person doing it? And so we attach all these other things to us delegating. And so now we know with AI, AI's come along, and what happened with me was I built a virtual assistant business, and I got staff in the Philippines, Egypt, Nepal, South Africa, and then AI came along, and everybody was like, you don't need a virtual assistant, just get AI. And I actually went into AI like really on a big scale, was teaching AI, went into AI for 2 years. I mean, I'm still in AI, but I went into it for the last 2 years. And I was like, what can I get AI to do for me? And I found that the things that actually worked for humans work for AI. When you're going to delegate to it, when you're going to put in an AI system that's going to do something, are you worried you're going to lose control? Are you worried that you can trust it, that it's going to do the right thing? It's exactly the same process. If I put in a new staff member and I say, hey, I want you to just promote my podcast, am I going to get the same results as if I say, hey, look, my name's Jade, and this is the podcast. I'm helping founders, and how rocky the road is initially. I'm helping them to actually be able to, navigate that path. I'll get a better result if I actually sat down and spoke to my new salesperson or new admin person and explained to them what I'm doing, what my big picture goal is, what I'd like them to help me with. And it's exactly the same with AI. People go into AI and they go, hey, can you help me promote my podcast? And then enter. And it gives you super generic stuff that could help anybody promote a podcast, but doesn't really help you. So that's why it's so important that I think going forward that we learn how to delegate better. Okay. Some of the stuff that I've delegated, I actually have an AI agent that runs, and it does a morning brief. So I don't know about you, but what my one does is my one actually goes through my calendar. It looks through my entire calendar, tells me where all the people that I'm going to be meeting. On my calendar, it looks at my bookkeeping software, tells me what monies I've got coming in, going out, looks at my emails, goes through all my emails, tells me these aren't important. These are important, and I've actually drafted a response already. So I can literally just go in and say, oh, yes, okay, send that, right? It goes through my Stripe account, and it says, hey, these are payments that you received overnight. And so that's a really, really good way for me to just start off my day. It's like having a really good briefing of what's actually happening in not only my emails, but my business and my financials all at the same time. The other thing that I use it for is I run meeting notes. So we use AI now. When I'm going to come into a meeting with you, I kind of want to know who's Jade. I want to know who Jade is. So the things I want to know is I want to go on the internet and I want to search up everything about you. So I want to find out all your websites, your podcasts. I want to find out everything about you. I want to find what you specialize in. So when I'm talking to you, I'm really clear on how I'm doing that. And just to give you an idea of the progression of AI, I used to have a virtual assistant who just did that, right? And she used to go in and she'd search on the internet for you, and then she'd come in and she'd create a file for you. And then about 6 months ago, we created an N8N agent. So N8N, you've used N8N. You pretty much we created an N8N agent, and what that agent would do is it would go in, there'd be a meeting. It would look on my Google Calendar, it would find the meeting, would go to the internet, find everything about that person, and then look at my computer, find everything about that person, and then put the two together, and then make notes for me for the meeting. And then about 3 months ago, I got Hermes. And Hermes just runs on a computer. So I've got a laptop in my office just sitting on the bookshelf, and Hermes is just running on the laptop. Okay, and what Hermes did was I was able to set this up now. The first one, I actually got my team in Nepal to set it up, and it took us about 3 weeks. When I got Hermes, I set it up myself, and it took me about maybe half an hour myself, with no coding, no telling it what I wanted to do. Recently, I've moved over to Claude, and I'm using Claude Code, and I now have Claude Code does it. So Claude Code, if you book a meeting on my calendar, Claude Code goes into my calendar, finds the meeting, goes into the internet, researches you completely on the internet, goes into my computer, researches everything about you on my computer, and then it comes back together, makes a meeting notes, and then it attaches that meeting notes to my Google Calendar, to the link where your meeting is. It also is looking through my computer, and if it can't find you in there, it puts you under my potential clients in my computer. So it puts you under my potential clients in my computer, and you're already in my CRM. So you'll start getting nurture emails, and so this is how we're using it now. I mean, there's so many applications.
There's so many ways. And I think that founders need to absolutely start using the tools that are at their disposal. I love these examples you gave. And I think there's some people do have that aversion to AI still. And in my opinion, if you're not utilizing AI to enhance and your workflow and your day-to-day, you're missing out. And it's sad to say, but you might be left behind. I think now more than ever is the time to start optimizing yourself and your tasks so that you can do more with a lot less energy having to be put out. And AI is a great tool to delegate to. I agree. And I think, yes, there are many things that AI can't fully be in control of and autonomous of. And obviously with Jet Set Productions, we'd say building your personal brand still does need that personal human touch. And so they're like, our founders are delegating their personal branding to us. And so we're building that digital presence to help them grow their personal brand alongside their business. But again, this personal brand is what attracts brand deals and customers and press. And that's just not something that AI absolutely can take over on itself right now, because human taste and authenticity still really has to be at the heart of it. But I think if there are these things, like you said, as simple as going through your email and saying, oh, I'm meeting with this person, do the research, do the meeting notes, that's impactful. And that's time back that founders really don't have to be spending on that anyway. So, and now taking it a bit further, right? We spoke about the importance of delegation. Let's talk about kind of the consequence of not delegating, which is burnout. What do you think burnout actually looks like on those early stages before someone even realizes that's where they are?
Before I start, you know that 5 out of 10 businesses are going to fail in the first 2 years. 8 out of 10 are going to fail in the first 5 years. That's an alarming statistic. That's a really alarming statistic. But what are the 2 doing that don't fail? What are they doing that's different? And one of the things that they're doing is delegation. One of the things that they're doing is they're using all the available tools around them, and they're actually using those tools to the very best of their ability. So imagine if we lived in the olden days and we were a delivery service and we had a horse, okay? So we put some parcels on the horse and then we went delivering door to door with the horse, okay? That would work. And then the car would come along. And we'd be like, this is ridiculous. This is ruining the environment. This is never going to last. People got to pay for petrol. My horse just eats grass. We'd come up with all these reasons why it wouldn't work. But then if we fast forward a little bit and we go, in all honesty, if you were trying to deliver parcels now with a horse, your business would just be out of business. And it wouldn't be out of business because there's cars. It would be out of business. The car wouldn't have stolen your business. People using the cars would have taken over your business. And so literally AI is exactly like that. So how do we actually utilize the things that we've got around us? Okay. And that will either be humans or it'll be AI. So imagine if we're delegating, we can do incredible stuff with AI, but do we really have to learn it ourselves, or can we delegate that role? Can we get somebody who already knows how to use AI to actually work for us for $10 an hour, and they can actually implement all that AI stuff in our business. And that's really where I specialize, in that sweet spot, having AI and a human and really getting them to help you.
I love that. Any final remarks or parting words for the audience, for the founders? I think we've hit them over the head, and I hope they understand, guys. If you're listening, delegate, delegate, delegate. Whether it's human to an AI, reach out to Louis if you need the help. But Louis, any final words and parting words for the founders?
I think in your business, you don't have to do more. You need to delegate if you want to watch your business soar.
Love that. Oh, Louis, you're the best. I love this talk. I love this show today. I love this episode. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting. For all you founders out there, Louis, how can people reach you? What's the best way for people to connect with you?
They can literally just go to louisswart.com. So that's just my name, LOUISSWART.com. And there's all, they can book a coffee chat with me. They can buy my book. Definitely buy my book. It's going to take you a couple of hours to read. It's an incredibly easy read. It's a parable, and it's got all exercises in the back which are going to help you to be able to move to the next level. But yeah, just reach out there. There's a whole lot of free giveaways. We're creating a whole lot of free apps at the moment, which we're giving away to people for free. Some incredible apps, Yeah, that's the easiest way.
Perfect. Amazing. You guys heard him. You know where to find him. louisswart.com. And for you founders out there, you already know where to find me. jets@jade.com for help with your personal brand. We are a done for you service where we make you the center of your digital presence to attract press, clients, and of course, even more potential investors. So we absolutely love having you guys here today. Thank you for listening. Louis, thank you for coming once again. And we will see you guys in the next episode.